The security firm, which failed to recruit enough staff for the Olympics, says it expects to lose up to £50 million as it promised to cover the cost of calling in more troops. G4S says it is deeply disappointed the government has had to draft in 3,500 extra military personnel because of the shortfall. The chief executive of G4S is Nick Buckles. He joins us now from our central London studio. Good morning. Do you accept you've presided over a catastrophic management failure?
We accept that we've taken on a task that we've failed in to deliver 10,000 staff in a very compressed time period, but clearly we are very, very disappointed with this.
Why did you take on the task?
When we first signed the contract back in 2010, it was for 2,000 G4S staff. As the requirement changed over a period of time, we agreed that when there was a significant upturn in the numbers required, that we would supply 10,000. We agreed that in December last year. So it's our contract, our commitment, but we really wanted to be part of that Olympics event.
Why did you say you would take on that many if you now can't?
Well, we believed clearly at the time that we could. We had plans and processes in place to do so. We still have. We have got 4,000 people on the ground. We've got 9,000 people almost ready to start. But clearly, we weren't absolutely 100% sure we could deliver on the number we'd contracted to.
Right, so you weren't absolutely sure back when you agreed to the 10,000?
No, sorry, over the last week or so.
OK, so what went wrong then? Along the line, after you said, OK, we'll do 10,000, where did it go wrong?
I think our assessment of how quickly we could move people through the pipeline clearly wasn't good enough. We had 100,000 applicants. We interviewed 50,000 people. And clearly there's a filtering process that goes on thereafter to get people games time ready. They've got to be screened by G4S. They've got to be accredited. They've got to have 2 or 3 sets of training. And that whole process being compressed into a relatively short period of time has left us behind schedule, basically.
Why not start that process earlier then?
Well, we couldn't start it before December because clearly we didn't have the contract then and didn't agree the numbers. We're looking to hire staff for a relatively short period of time. They're going to come from various backgrounds, from the unemployed, from bridging the gap, from students that are leaving college, and from people that are actually currently in full-time employment but want to take time off to actually work at the Games. But clearly, getting them ready for the Games, where they might only work, as I said, 3 weeks or so, probably takes around 3 weeks of training. And it's getting that training done before they come on site and getting all those other hurdles overcome, which has been such a logistical challenge for us.
I do understand that, but you knew that that's what the process would be all along, or have there been barriers put in your way? Are you saying that LOCOG have made the process more difficult?
No, there's been no barriers put in our way. It's purely a numbers game of getting people ready to be deployed.
So too many people, you didn't expect so many people to apply? Is that why so many have gone through?
No, it's really that whole process of actually getting people trained has been the real challenge. SIA...
But I'm sorry, but you know what your training process is. You know how long this takes, and you agreed that you would do that many people. I don't understand why then there is the shortfall when you knew back when you started it that that's how long it took.
This is a very unique event, clearly. We employ 660,000 people in 120 countries around the world. But what we tend to do, or nearly all the time, is employ people on fixed contracts or full-time contracts. We do events, clearly. We do a large number of events every year in the UK. But getting that many people together, 10,000 people, starting 6 months ago for a 3 to 6 week period has been our logistical challenge. And yes, we should have known about it, but clearly that's been a bigger challenge than we expected.
OK, so the recruits are going through the process of being trained, and we're getting messages from some people who say they have been through that process. They wanted to work on the Olympics, and they go through. There is no fail on some of the tests that they take, and they're asked daft questions along the way. What do you say about your training process?
Training process is a number of different courses. The SIA course, industry course, is the standard course that all applicants in the UK industry do. That's a 4-day process. The role-specific training depends on the role they're being trained for, from CCTV operators through to bag searchers, X-ray. They're all very well-delivered training programs.
OK, and what about the quality of the staff you have employed? Do they all have a good command of English, for example?
As part of the SIA training and as part of the SIA certification, you have to be able to speak English, and that's the standard for the UK security industry.
So you're happy that everybody who will be on the front line that is employed by G4S will be able to converse with the people that are attending the games?
Yes.
Can you hear me?
Yes, sorry, I said yes, yeah.
Oh, you are happy with that. OK, thank you very much. The screening, we have heard reports, is not good enough to give people the know-how, how to pick up certain things. And indeed, somebody who was involved in your training purposes spoke to us anonymously on Sky News and said that he believed that there was still a 50-50 chance that people could take in suspect things into the games. Do you dispute that?
Yeah, of course I dispute that. The training programme is a fully recognised programme. Clearly, they are trained to look at three-dimensional objects going through X-ray scanners, the same way as people are trained to do the same job in airports.
So last night, your company announced that you could be losing up to £50 million over this whole debacle. Is that £50 million as a payback, as a fine for not fulfilling the contract, or will some of that money go to the military, who will have to pick up the cost? Yeah,
it's a number of different pieces to get to that 30 to 50 million pounds. There's a piece for penalties, there's a piece for our additional costs in getting the staff we need, and there are costs which we have said we will provide to the government for them supplying us with the military.
Sorry, what do you mean by additional costs for supplying the staff you need?
Well, clearly we are actually getting, in this last sort of process of getting people in the right places, getting them accommodated, there are additional costs. But the biggest chunk of it by far is penalties and paying the government for the military, but also some elements of the contract which we will credit back to the customer as well.
OK, will you make any profit at all on this contract?
No, that is the profit on the contract. It's a 30 to 50 million pound loss.
Right, so do you expect to get paid for the contract even though you haven't fulfilled it?
We expect to get paid for the element of the contract we've fulfilled, certainly.
And just finally, here we are, just a couple of weeks from the start of the Olympics. Are you beginning to wish that you'd never taken up this contract in the first place?
We're the world's largest security company. We're a British company. We're very excited about the Olympics. We're still very keen to deliver a safe and secure games.
And you still feel that you are the right person to lead this company, even though there has been such a failure in terms of this contract?
I still feel I'm the right person to lead the company, yes.
Thank you very much for talking to us today. Nick Buckles, G4S Chief Executive.
Thank you.